Hello everyone, welcome to the mid-month reading for all signs. So in this video, I will include Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, and so on until Virgo. And the Libra through Pisces video has already been uploaded. Apologize for the wait. So let's go ahead into the reading. So I'm starting off here with Aries. I've already shuffled out the cards, so we're going to go straight into your cards here. What I do feel, and I want you to be a little bit careful about, is driving, okay? Especially if you are drinking. So we are starting the next few weeks with a lot of momentum, a lot of energy, and a lot of movement. I see you hopping from place to place. I see a lot of social functions, a lot of gathering. I feel like alcohol might be flowing for a lot of you. So just be careful about that. What I do sense as well is I feel for a lot of you, your workload is it's increasing massively, okay? So I see you having to collaborate with other people. I see you working on a project, expanding something. As a result of it, I feel like burning the midnight oil, or even like coming in early, leaving a little bit earlier. So there's a lot of work, there's a lot of socializing with coworkers about work, and I see like happy hour. I see, getting drinks after work on top of that. So that's a weekday for you. So on the weekends, what I'm feeling is a lot of you are out with your friends, with your family. There are so many social engagements coming through for you. It seems like you're in a whirlwind. Your head is spinning and you don't really know, like, it seems almost as if you want to be here and there and you want to be everywhere, and you don't know how to turn down these offers. But I feel like you're doing this not out of a sense of obligation. I do feel you're doing this because you actually enjoy the people that you're around, and you enjoy, the company that you're keeping around you. So I feel a lot of social engagement with coworkers during the weekdays, and then a lot of social engagement with friends, family, loved ones on the weekends. So a lot of drinking, a lot of socializing, a lot of celebratory energy. So be very careful about bar hopping, about driving. Take a cab if you can. Try to avoid the hassle. And especially don't drive recklessly, because I see you moving so fast. And you are a fire sign, and Aries rule the head as well. So be very careful about that, okay? What I do feel as well is just slow down a little bit. I don't want you burning yourself out, and especially like your health taking a toll on you, because it's really going to start to affect your head, like getting head flus and things like that. So keep that in mind. Um, one of the message, like the image that I was actually getting is I see you and another person. So I see somebody shorter, somebody taller, possibly a couple, like a man and a woman. If you're a man or if you're a woman, I see like a little bit of a height differential. And I see you kind of like on the dock talking to another person in a very serious tone. Not like you're chastising them or yelling at them, but I feel like you're having a candid conversation with another person. It's overlooking the water, so I don't know if you are doing that with another person, a significant other, but I see you having a very candid, poignant conversation with another person. It seems as if you are going to be having this discussion with somebody that you are very emotionally attracted to and emotionally in tune with. So I feel like I'm getting more like a third, fourth date with somebody that you really like. I don't feel a first date vibe. So I feel like a lot of you might be in a place with water, on the docks, looking at the water and standing up and talking to somebody that you're potentially going on a date with. So I saw that coming through quite early. A lot of you might have recently left a relationship partner, and I do feel there might be some reconciliation coming through. You're dealing with a little bit of regret, a little bit of sadness for an end to a relationship. A lot of you might have I see here water signs, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Um, this seems to me like a new person. So water signs, I see an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Um, yeah, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. This seems like the person you might have transitioned away from, because I feel like they're coming back in, and I feel like some situation, somebody or some situation is coming back in, and it's like a round two. So I feel like you reconnecting with them, possibly, you know, working together to try to build something. I see like you trying to build something with them. They're coming in, they might need your help. They're soliciting you for advice. Their energy, you know, usually earth signs are very stable, but their energy seems a little bit overwhelmed, overburdened, and a little bit frazzled. So they're calling upon you to help them with something. So for a lot of you, I feel like in the home environment, you're either, I see like you nailing things, hammering things, pasting things to the wall, decorating the walls, wallpaper, and things like that. I see all of that coming through. So a lot of hectic energy as well. If you are on a step ladder, or if you're like, if you need to climb on something, make sure you don't cut corners. um you know, like some people, for example, if you're like painting the ceiling, some people just they don't want to have to move the ladder every, you know, few yards, so then they would like try to overreach. And you know, just be very careful if you're not grounded like on your feet like by water, or even like if you're on a step ladder, just be really careful, because I do feel a little bit of accident prone energy coming through, and that's no fun. So I do see you passing out flyers, working with other people. You're having fun while you're painting, redecorating, fixing things. So I see hammer, nails, and all of these things. Okay. What I'm feeling as well is I do have here a lot of, you know, like I mentioned, celebratory energy. For those of you who are dating, I do feel, you know, going on dates, many, many dates. I don't feel any of these are first dates, so I feel like a lot of you might have a bit more selective about these dates, about, you know, who you're going to call back, who you're going to spend more time with. So I definitely see that coming through. I feel like some of you might be dealing with somebody, possibly an earth sign, who might have a drinking issue. I feel like, yeah, strong earth sign, and I also feel like a water sign, possibly with drinking issues. Okay, there's something coming in here with drinking issues, so it might be from you, it might be from the people that are around you, but I do sense every card that shows up here has a cup in it, so I'm just a little bit worried. So if this, yeah, just get the situation straightened out, and at least don't drink and drive. Towards the end of the month here, what I do sense is once again, I see reconciliation. I see like a group of people that you're really, really, that you really care for, and it might be a mother and a father. It might be, you know, just like childhood friends that you are reconnecting with, somebody asking you for help, asking for a favor because they're a little bit overwhelmed. And I do sense like a little bit of going on a date or moving away and going to meet somebody, okay, by a body of water is what I'm feeling as well. What is showing up here is an air sign. So this is towards the end of the month, and this is a separate person. Towards the end of the month, an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra coming into the picture, and there might be a little bit of a discussion that might be kind of confusing, circling around this air sign. What I feel is like, if this is a friend, I feel like a lot of you are kind of like screening out your friends, screening out the people that you're dealing with, and screening out, you know, who are my friends, who really cares for me, and who has really been there for me. And I feel you potentially looking at this air sign, and this can be a family member or a friend or a romantic interest as well, or even a partner. And I feel like a lot of you might be questioning whether or not they are 100% devoted to you. And you might be a little bit resentful that you feel they haven't been 100% there for you when you need them. So I do feel some re-examination with an air sign as to, you know, where their loyalties lie and how they feel about you. So I do see that coming through. Overall, it is a very, very good financial month for a lot of you. I feel like maybe the socializing is draining you financially, but I feel you getting pretty much getting yourself grounded financially by the end of the month. So I feel like if you're working on a client basis, a lot of work coming through, you will be very busy as well, but I feel like you work hard and you party hard. I also feel like there is a a lot of offers coming through for friendships, for socializing, for even romantic interests coming through and soliciting you to see whether or not you want to, go on a date. I feel water sign um, are very attracted to you this month. Okay, so I don't know why that is, but I feel like a persistent water sign. Not that they're stalky or not that they're stalking you or being creepy, but I feel like they are showing clear interest in you. So I feel like they're coming in. I have the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups. So they're coming in for whatever gender you're dating. There's a water sign very prominent, and they're going to make their presence known. They're going to make their interest known. For a lot of you, this water sign is in your work environment. For a lot of you, I feel you working in close proximity with them, and they could potentially, you might have to like stay back late after work, and I see them bringing you food, drinks, and things like that. And with water signs, with people in general, they show that they care by bringing, food to whoever it is that they like. So even as friends or even as coworkers, if people generally bring food to the people that they like, so take it as a sign that they are interested. Okay, so I do feel it is going to be a very, very emotional 2 weeks for you in a really good, satisfying way. I feel you getting a lot of support, a lot of recognition on the emotional front, also on the professional front. Just be very careful about your health and about your well-being, mainly because I see you running around a lot. I see you driving a lot, from darting from one place to the next. So just, keep that under wraps and keep yourself safe, okay? So I wish you the best, Aries. Enjoy the rest of your month. So we are moving on now to Taurus. I'm going to shuffle the cards first, and then when the cards are laid out, then I'll switch over on the slides. All right, Taurus, welcome to your reading. So, one of the first things that I'm feeling here is I feel like for some of you, you've been saving a lot of money. You've been like, I feel almost like a hoarding energy. You've been saving a lot of money, and I feel like you've been doing this for quite some time, maybe for a major purchase. But I feel a lot of you are just either planning a vacation, planning a trip, buying a house, or doing some planning for a major milestone in your life. A lot of you, marriage, I feel is also indicated. Buying property, saving up, and I feel like this has been an ongoing thing for the past 5 years is what I'm sensing. So you've been living very practically, like very in a very practical manner. You've been like I guess depriving yourself of certain luxury items for this far-reaching goal. And I do feel like it is having a little bit of an effect on your ability to really enjoy the quality of life. I do feel that a lot of you are doing this alongside a partner. Like there's this element here of teamwork. We are in this together through thick and thin. So I do feel like it's a really beautiful cooperative energy that is coming through here, but it is still, it's still difficult because you do like nice things. And having to skimp on, certain items, I feel like it is a little bit difficult. What I do feel is for those of you who have been financially like in dire strait, I do feel a new job coming through. If it hasn't come in already, I do feel it coming through like for after the 15th. And it is a really, really lucrative assignment. And I feel like there is an increase in salary in the amount that you're getting back as well. So I feel like a lot of you are I feel there might be a move associated with or required for the new job, but I don't feel like it's overseas. I feel like it might be to the next town or to the neighboring city. There might be a little bit of a commute. So a lot of you are kind of anxious about this. I see you looking at it skeptically, analyzing it, and in a typical Taurian fashion, you're not going to jump into things unless you have all the details. So I'm not really worried about that. But I feel like this will be a really big career move. It's a life changer for a lot of you. So I feel like you're going to be very, very happy and very elated. I do see some type of a celebratory thing coming through, like a gathering with friends, with people. I see like girls' night. I see a lot of women, and even if you're a male watching this, I feel like there is a social function where someone is celebrating you, possibly a congratulations type of a party where you're landing this job or something like that. I feel a lot of celebratory energies, okay? So it looks overall very, very good. What I'm also feeling is I'm seeing for some of you, I feel like there was a relationship. It's kind of like an up and down emotional roller coaster relationship. So obviously, this is not going to apply to all, just the ones that have been dealing with a rocky relationship past 5 years or 9 months. The past 5 years or 9 months, it's a little bit of a mismatch in energies with you and another person. And I feel like there has been this kind of like roller coaster. A lot of you might have broken up, gotten back together, and then your friends know about this person, okay? So you can be a guy or you can be a girl, but this is an on again, off again type of a tumultuous relationship. I feel that I see the person, if you've left them behind, they are coming back in and they seem a little bit wounded, a little bit broken to me. This could be you doing this to another person where you're coming back in and you're a little bit broken and wounded, and it's kind of like you're giving them an offer or they're giving you an offer as a last attempt to make this relationship work. And your friends and the people that have nursed you back to emotional wellness, whenever this relationship fell apart, they're kind of like judging you. So I feel that you have a very strong emotional connection with this person. I feel you have a very strong karmic connection. Do what you need to do to heal from this, okay? So I feel like your friends are still supportive. So don't let other people's opinions of the relationship deter you from doing what you feel in your heart is what your heart desires. So, don't let social norms, social expectations dictate what you do, because I feel like you need to learn these lessons and you are living your life. They're not living your life. They shouldn't be judging, but I do see judgment, chastisement coming from your surrounding environment, and it makes you uncomfortable. So you might like keep the person coming back, you might keep it the affair on the down low. You might not want to disclose all the information. And if you really care about your friends and family, there's no need to lie to them. They will understand, and they won't be happy, but they will be supportive. So there's no need to feed. There's no need to deny anything here. We are all adults. So if this is something you feel you need to do, you don't need to defend your actions to other people. Okay, just stick to it, and you don't need to defend yourself. They will understand. So I feel like that's what's happening here. Someone is coming back in, they're a little bit broken, they're a little bit wounded, and the friends and family, people around are like, no, don't take them back. Look what happened last time. And you're just like, I think this is something that you have to do on your own. And I do feel this is something that you have to do just to learn from this relationship, okay? I do feel that it can have a very good, satisfactory um, reconciliation, I guess. I feel that it can work out this time around. I honestly do that. And I don't say that often, but I do feel that, this is something that the karma hasn't run out yet. You still have some learning and growth to do with this other person. So it is in your best interest to do what you need to do. Um, what I'm feeling here is I see you having discussions with other people. I see a truce being reached. And I also feel like a lot of social dating as well for those of you who are single. A lot of you might have gone out, started dating, feeling a little bit guarded with your feelings, feeling as if you're not ready. I feel like there are a lot of offers on the table for you, but for some reason, if you have recently gotten out of a relationship, you feel a little bit like uncomfortable. You feel like out of your element, not in the game. And I feel like you kind of feeling like it's too soon for me to start dating. It's too soon for me to be intimate with another person. I see this sense of awkwardness and discomfort, just almost as if you're not ready. Something is coming through for you that has a very, very outstanding, long lasting potential, but I feel a lot of you are hesitant because you're not ready at this point. And there's nothing wrong with that. Make sure you are emotionally ready. Otherwise, things will, fizzle out. So just make sure you're ready. If you have undergone some type of a traumatic experience as well, and I say this like traumatic experience, it doesn't have, I'm getting trauma, physical trauma, emotional trauma. If you are seeing like some physical therapist for any reason, I do see a lot of healing is coming through. Okay, a lot of healing on the mental front, on the emotional front, on the physical front. And I feel like you have a lot of support from those around you. If you are doing any type of physical therapy, don't push your body past, that limit of exertions, because I feel like that can really set you back in terms of healing. So don't overexert yourself, because I feel like that's going to be detrimental. You're very stubborn, Taurus, and when you can't get something done in a certain manner, you get very frustrated. So I feel like, especially for those of you undergoing physical therapy, I see like wrists, hand, and knees. I see for some of you some head situation, some head trauma. I see wrists, knees, and head. So I don't know if you've recently have fallen, I see that coming through. And I feel like, especially if you're somebody who's very athletic and very physically active, it might be frustrating for you to have to go through some type of physical therapy or seeing somebody going through this. Just make sure they don't push themselves too hard, because I feel like, that might set them back in terms of recovery time. So take it slow. Um, I do feel a lot of healing energy coming through on the family front, okay? So this could be just emotional trauma from the past, emotional, like some emotional clearing, some channel of communication or understanding or sympathy coming through on the family front. So a lot of you might be having like a healing, a healing experience with somebody that you've had like a problematic relationship with. So I do see that coming through as well. So it is going to be emotional for the next 2 weeks, I would say, but in a very happy, I guess, vivacious way. I do see a lot of healing for a lot of you. So, take the time that you need. I do see like work coming through, congratulatory parties coming through for a work well done. A lot of you might be getting accepted to school as well, I feel. So you might be trying to get that up and running. You might have been a student and you were saving up for something. So I feel like that makes sense with the initial message that I got through. So Taurus, take care of yourself, okay? And take it easy for those of you, especially undergoing some type of physical therapy or even emotional, like, psychotherapy, all right? So next up we have Gemini. So I'm going to Okay, Geminis. Flip the screen here. Interesting. So let me see how to best phrase this. Okay, so what I'm feeling here is if you're dealing with an earth sign, and I feel like this might be applicable to a very small minority or even just one person. If you're dealing with an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, I don't know in what capacity you're dealing with them as, but I feel it might be work related. For others, it might be relationship related, okay? So, what I'm sensing here is I feel like when you're looking away, they're doing something they're not supposed to. So, I see you looking in one direction and they see you a little bit distracted, so they're kind of like swirling something away, putting something away, or doing something like texting when they're not supposed to. So I feel like somebody is hiding that from you, and I feel like you're so caught up in your own things, in your own life, in your own battles, and that you're not really aware of what they're doing. Okay. What I'm also feeling is a lot of you are looking or missing somebody from your past. So you're looking back at the past and you're yearning for something from the past. And this, if this is a romantic interest, for example, they can see you kind of like emotionally not there, even though, for example, you go on a date with them and then you're kind of spacey because you're thinking about somebody else. And they see that you're thinking about somebody else and they're just like, oh, the Gemini is not really interested in me. So maybe I should, hedge my bets and work on my other dating options. So I feel like that's something coming through, either on the work front or on the romance front. I do feel there is an earth sign. This could be Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn on their way out. I feel like they might be on the way out. And for a lot of you, you might realize that they're a good person. I feel like they're very caring, very nurturing, very stable, and good sense of humor. Especially if you're dating a Capricorn, there's just this very understated, great sense of humor. Taurus as well. Virgo, it depends, hit or miss, but I feel like Capricorn and Taurus, very great sense of humor. Um, and they make you laugh, and you try to be emotionally present, but I feel like a lot of you uh, are like yearning for somebody from your past, possibly another air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. So that's what I'm feeling. So here's what you can do. If you're at work, just be, focus on the moment, be vigilant. If you're on in the relationship, try to be emotionally present, okay? Don't get distracted by other things. Be in the present situation with the other person just out of respect for them, okay? A lot of the times, people, they go out on dates and they're constantly on their phones, and that's considered rude. So if you're spacing out emotionally, um, it's also considered very inconsiderate. So just, be mindful of what you're doing. And Geminis, you have a habit of your eyes darting back and forth. So this person, if it's a new, romantic interest that doesn't know you very well and they see your eyes constantly darting back and forth, it can feel very emotionally destabilizing. They might feel as if you're checking out somebody else. They might feel a little bit, like unsettled because you bring with you a lot of nervous air energy. So just be careful about that. Be mindful of your actions and how you are perceived by other people, and especially be emotionally present when you are interacting with another person. It doesn't matter if it's a coworker, it doesn't matter if it's a first date and you're not having fun and you never see them again. Just try to live in the moment, okay? Rather than looking at the past, rather than projecting into the future, try your best to pull back your energy in this present moment. I feel like that's what's happening here, because when you talk, the other person is like attentively listening to you and they absorb your every word. But when the other person is talking, it seems as if you're spacing out. Okay, so really work on that. I feel like focus, your ability to focus overall, it's going to be tested the next 2 weeks. Okay, so keep that in mind. Um, what I'm feeling is for a lot of you, you might have an air sign from the past. So Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. Um, and this can be their sun, moon, or rising. I am feeling more of like their, I'm feeling moon sign. I'm feeling moon sign because I feel like this is something that might be emotionally traumatic. So somebody from your past is coming back in, and I feel almost like you miss them, you want to be with them, but I feel like there's a discord, there's disruption, there is mistrust. So there might have been issues with trust before, and now that they're making a comeback or they're trying to come in, I feel like you're sitting back, you're not pursuing it, you're not being proactive about it, and but you're not outright rejecting them. So you're kind of taking a stance of like, I'll believe it when I see it, just to see if they're going to come back in. And I do feel they will fight for you. They will fight for, to prove themselves. It seems like they have something they want to prove, and they will, try to fight it out in order to show you, to get you to believe them. A lot of you might be dealing with a fire sign that's also doing this. So this is a Aries, Sagittarius, Leo, okay? And especially if this is somebody from the past too, I do feel fire sign, air sign coming back from the past. Earth sign in the present, I feel like they might be on their way out if you're not careful how you're dealing with this situation. So I see a lot of transitions from one person to the next, but I feel like your attention is geared towards the past, and almost like you've got this vigilant energy. I'm prepared to fight. But rather than focusing on the present, you're just like, I'm upset. I really want to get, I'm gearing up for battle for something from your past, someone from your past, or a situation from your past. So try to get yourself, once again, if it's something in the past, let it go. Okay. Just let it go, Geminis. What I'm also sensing is I do feel a lot of, I feel like dating options, but I see you like looking at multiple choices, and I feel like you're not 100% happy. It seems as if the prospects that are coming through, especially for those of you actively seeking people, other people, I feel like the options are kind of not to your liking. I feel that the options might not be to your liking. Someone might not have, might not be successful enough. Someone might have like children and you might or might not want children. I see there's like a mismatch in, preferences when it comes to like, especially for those of you internet dating. So I see there are options, but none of them really, make the grade, make the cut. And I definitely feel like there are others that you really like, but you don't really, trust them 100%. And you don't want to invest too much into it because a lot of you honestly are not over an ex. I feel a lot of you are not over an ex. So you might have trouble, trying to put yourself like, trying to get past, get over the past and to be mentally and emotionally present. I don't feel the next 2 weeks is going to be are going to be emotionally destabilizing weeks because I feel like you're emotionally detached from a lot of what's going on around you. So just pull your energy back. Try to stay vigilant. Try to be available to the people that make time for you. Okay, even if like someone asks you out for coffee for like half an hour just to catch up, try to keep yourself emotionally available to them out of respect to them, and that's just how we build relationships. Okay. So for those in coupled, marriages and things like that, I see an argument from the past recurring, but that's standard for coupled relationships. And I feel like if it's coming back for the next 2 weeks, really try to hash it out because I feel that it's like night and day. One person sees it like this. And the other person sees it like that, and the way that you see a situation is just different, like night and day. And I feel like this is going to be an eye-opening experience where rather than combating, just tell the other person like, okay, here's how I look at it. Tell me your perspective of how you look at it. And then there's going to be some arrival at a truce where you're just like, okay, we're just very different. I knew we were different, but I didn't realize it was to this extent. And that can facilitate, a lot of a channel of communication between the two of you that can also facilitate further understanding of one another's analysis, psyche, and that can really help strengthen and deepen a connection with you and a friend, a significant other, a marriage partner. So that can do wonders, okay? Just like really listening to how somebody think and how they analyze and process information, it will allow you to understand how they problem solve, what they do, how they react when they're frustrated, and so on and so forth. So I feel like being a little bit more observant and mindful um, of other people, I feel that's going to be really important for you, okay, Geminis? And what I'm sensing is there might be some of you dealing with a fire sign. It could be in the past or in the present. If you're dealing with a fire sign, Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries, yes. So I feel like you have the same issues over and over and over again. And I feel like the other person is just very, very stubborn. They feel like they're always right. And they might be always like just on the defense. And I feel that, maybe there's a better way to handle this rather than face-to-face confrontation. Maybe it's best to write a letter. They hate that. I feel like fire signs don't like that. But I do sense that you might want to write them a letter, an email, get it written down, and just open up by saying, I know you hate, this passive aggressive thing that I'm doing, but it's not passive aggressive. Just tell them that I get too emotional, I get too worked up when we talk face to face. So this is the best way for me to communicate. So I know you don't like it, but this is the most effective way for me that I've found that works for me. So please just go along with it. And I feel like if you open it up in that manner, it will be well received. Okay. So I feel like somebody's like very defensive. And if the standard communication doesn't work, write a letter, but frame it in a way where you are respectful of their likes and dislikes, but you want to resolve something, so you have to do it in a way that might not be to their liking. But, just make sure you acknowledge the fact that they might not like something. That's all they need, really. They need that validation. So I feel like that's what's going on here. And I do sense for those of you, I feel like almost this overwhelming sense of you get to know somebody new, and then you realize that you don't have very much in common. I do see the physical attraction is there, but that can only sustain for a short period of time. But you realize that you just don't have very much in common. And I almost sense like for a small minority of you, someone looks really good on paper, but when you get to know them, you're just like, I don't really like this person as a person. They might just be abrasive. They might be defensive. They might be kind of like on their high horse. So they look great on paper. They're perfectly successful. And they're not a bad person. But some of the things they say might be a little bit abrasive for you. Might be a little bit insensitive. So I feel that coming through. And that's it's a hodgepodge of information. In terms of your financial situation, keep your spending under control. It's not looking too great, but I don't feel any terrible, like financial regrets and worries and things like that. So I wouldn't worry too much. But I do want you to just keep that under control, okay? You're showing up here as the Page of Pentacles on the finance front, and it's in the reverse position. So I see like impulsive buying. I see somebody potentially wanting to prove something, like showing off. Okay, so Cancers. So, Cancer, the first message that I'm getting out here is that for those of you who have lived in an area by the beach, I feel like you have, since, since living there, you have moved, and you might be in an area that is a little bit drier. There's like zero humidity, and you might be living in a place that is not densely vegetated. Like it might be in the desert. It might have very high altitude, and I see a lot of you are missing the beach. You're either missing longing for that vacation, or you're longing for something from the past, or you're longing for that sense of comfort, security, familiarity associated with that, those carefree days of your life. So I feel there is this innate, like, longing for the past, longing for something that was a little bit more carefree, relaxing, and just happy. So I do sense that that nostalgia coming through. But I do feel like there's that specific imagery regarding beaches. So a lot of you could be from the East Coast, West Coast if you're in the States, or you might have grown up on an island. You might have been around like bodies of water frequently. And I do see oceans and beaches, salt water, and you might be yearning for that. Okay, a lot of you could be looking to take a trip soon. I don't feel, yeah, I do see like possibly thinking about taking a trip or wanting to take a trip. um but I feel like you might be constrained because of work. I feel a lot of social events, functions, just going out, socializing, networking. I do sense that coming through with now, maybe because you haven't been diligent about keeping on top of things, so they're piling on. So I feel like a lot of you might just be a little bit worn out, and you're longing for that vacation, but you might not be able to take it because of the increased work. Okay, I'm also sensing a lot of you. We have the Ace of Cups here, and I see you turning your back from it. Okay, I see you like turning the other way, and you're just like, no, I want to focus on my career. Don't come knocking just yet. I want to focus on my career. And a lot of you might have like two options or more, but I see two that you're choosing between. So you're just like delaying and procrastinating on having to make this decision. So I feel there is somebody that you are very, very, very much in tune with on an emotional front. You really like them. I feel there is a very strong emotional energy coming through, and I see you turning your back on it. And there's another person who is very, very hardworking in your environment. I can't really pinpoint signs. There's somebody who's very hardworking. They seem like they have a very strong financial basis. They seem like they might have, their life together. They seem very well put together. On paper, they look really, really good, and you see the potential in them, and you feel like this is the one for me. They're not where I want them to be, but in a few years, they're going to make great strides. They're going to create a name for themselves, and I really want to be with them when they hit that pinnacle of their career. I just really want to be there. So I feel like you like somebody and the way they look and the way their public image looks. So I feel like it's almost like you are wanting somebody to be your public match. Okay, so it's like you want to look good together. You want to like have the same goals. You want to have the same sense of direction, where you want to go in life, what kind of careers you want to establish for yourself. So that public image, and this is interesting because Scorpios, I feel like Pisces possibly as well. Scorpios got the same type of message where, they like somebody because the other person looks really good on paper. But you, on the other hand, might be emotionally um, pulled towards another person who might not look good on paper, but you like this other person who looks good on paper, so you might be turning away from what your heart is telling you. So I see that dynamic coming in where you have an emotional connection with another person, but you might have that intellectual or that financial connection with another person. So you don't really know which way to go. A lot of you could be looking at this as like, two job options, where one job promises financial stability. One job is a career boosting move, and the other job is more like something that you feel you are closely linked up with, but it seems a little bit risky. It seems like there isn't a major financial overhaul or a financial improvement, so you might turn your back on that option. So, Cancer, I just have to tell you, as a water sign, and I actually tell this to everybody, but more so for you because you're a water sign. You're ruled by the moon, and the moon, signifies our emotional needs, what we need in order to feel emotionally fulfilled, emotionally content. And if your heart is not content, you're going to be a very crabby coworker, a very crabby boss. If you're in a work environment where you're not happy, it starts to also manifest in physical symptoms, like hives, breaking out, getting allergic reactions, and feeling like very fatigued, and just emotional problems can manifest in physical symptoms for you. So because you're so heavily in tune with that, moon energy. Okay, so just keep that in mind. On the work front, if you're like dissatisfied with your work, your social relationships too will start to disintegrate. Okay, so make sure you work from the heart in your relationships as well, love relationships, marriages, dating prospects, dating partner. You really can't fake it. So if your heart is not in it, you're going to start to be very picky, and to like be very naggy. And I guess, what's the other word? Like you're going to like start picking out all the flaws in the person that you're dating, and it can be very detrimental to, it's like finding faults with somebody that you chose to be with, finding faults in a work environment that you chose to be in. So just be very mindful of what you're doing. If you feel yourself getting like really, just feeling just frustrated and crabby, think about whether you're or not your heart is in it anymore. Because a lot of the times, you develop very strong emotional connections, and a lot of the times water signs stay in relationships for way too long, and you start to like nitpick and find faults in the other person, rather than figuring out, am I still in love with this other person? You might externalize it, and you might say that because the other person does all of these little things, that's why I'm not in love with them anymore. The fault doesn't lie with the other person. When it comes to matters of the heart, when it comes to feelings, the feelings emanate from within you, okay? So just be careful of that energy. You might be finding faults with someone, and you might justify it as if they're doing all of these annoying things that they know, irks me. So that's why I'm not in love with them. It doesn't work that way. So be conscientious about what you're bringing to the table. Okay? I feel like that was a message that needed to be said for quite a few of you, because I feel that's what's happening right now. You might be nitpicking at someone that you care about. And when you do that, it is really hurtful to the other person. Okay? So it's kind of like self-sabotage. So understand your own feelings. Understand, like if you're not in love, you're not in love. There's nothing wrong with it. Love fades. So don't think of it as a weakness. Think of it as, feelings change over time. But in your work life, professional life, or your romantic life, and just something to keep in mind about, okay? I feel like for a lot of you, you have new love coming through. You have a very, very good love affair that is very emotionally enriching, emotionally like just beautiful coming through. But I feel like you're turning your back on it. You're telling yourself, my hands are tied. I can't really do anything at this point. I'm married to my job. I'm either married to this other person that looks good on paper, but I'm not in love with. So I really can't do anything. Well, yes, you can. Free will is a powerful thing. So you want to know where your heart lies and you want to know what you can do, what you need to do to make yourself happy, okay? So I see like don't make excuses anymore for the things that you're doing or the things that you're not doing. If you work from the heart, it's going to make life a lot easier for you. If you work from the heart, the choices that you're making in life don't have to seem so oppressive, okay? I'm getting a little bit of a Libra vibe here. A lot of you might be dealing with a Libra, someone who is a little bit indecisive. So they're very go with the flow, very easygoing. And you might be the one to make all the decisions. And you feel a little bit like, I'm tired of having to make all these decisions. Why don't they make the decisions? So I feel like that energy coming through where every decision feels like very oppressive. And you feel almost like whatever decision I make comes at great opportunity cost, and I don't really want to make a decision right now. So you are at a state of flux and you are procrastinating on making a major decision that will free you, that will really liberate you, either physically or emotionally or even financially. So, go for it. Don't procrastinate on this because I feel like if something is up on the offer, so for example, if someone tells you, I really like you, and you just let that offer linger, someone else is going to come in and snatch it up. I see that happening the last week. So don't leave something on the back burner because you're afraid to make a decision, because I feel like that they're going to be gone when you are ready, okay? They might not hang around. So just be careful of that. A lot of you might be dealing with a fire sign who's a little bit aggressive. So Sagittarius, Leo, Aries. Someone, I feel like a fire sign is very much interested in you, and it seems to me like you're hesitant about making a decision. It seems like somebody coming to your rescue. So I have this scenario where I feel like a lot of you feel as if your hands are tied, but you're not really stuck, you're not really tied up. And the other person is just like, stop making excuses, let me come in and rescue you. So I feel like someone is pursuing you aggressively, a fire sign, or they are coming into they're coming in to rescue you from a situation where you can't see the forest for the trees. They might come in with ideas to show you, like how to move forward. They might come in to rescue you, like I feel like liberate you physically if you are in a stuck situation, if you might have fallen, if you might have gone hiking, fallen, and things like that. I see somebody lifting you up, okay? So this could be like metaphorically or physically, like literally lifting you up, somebody coming to your rescue. What I'm also seeing is there's a lot of travel. So if you have been procrastinating as well on whether or not to take a trip to see somebody, whether or not to reunite with someone, I see someone making the decision for you. So Cancers, don't get into the habit of not making decisions for yourself, of being passive, of procrastinating. Okay, because I don't see this energy coming through often for you, but I see it so clearly in this spread. So just be careful about that, okay? Don't let somebody else make the decisions for you, because what happens later on, further down the line, is you're going to realize that, oh, I'm not in love with this person anymore, or I'm not in love with this result of this decision. And you're going to cycle back into the past and you're like, actually, I didn't make this decision. And then you start to resent the other person. I mean, it happens to the best of us, but don't let somebody else make an important decision for you. It is a cop out, it is an easy way out, and it's not going to be good for you long term. So use your heart as your moral compass, as your guiding light. Do things that make your heart, feel good, okay? You can't really deny your feelings. So I feel that it's just important for you to be authentic and to operate from the heart. Do the right thing as well. The heart also, monitors our sense of integrity. So try to do the right thing. Um, Let me see if there's anything coming through here. Okay, so I feel like if you're dealing with an earth sign, be careful about this, okay? So if you're dealing with an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, if you have been kind of like jumping around, like dating other people or doing something you're not supposed to, and this earth sign is kind of like caught up in, they're busy, it seems they're busy and they're doing other things, and you know they have like a lot of projects running. And I feel like there, if you're dealing with an earth sign, there might be a unfortunate event where someone is being caught doing something they're not supposed to. Like, you know, they might be burned out with you. So they might be like, okay, I'm actually seeing my friend today, so I can't go out. And then you go out, and they go out and they run into you, for example. Or you might do that to them and then you run into each other's. I see some awkwardness. I see some awkward encounters. Somebody seeing something that they're not supposed to be seeing. So I feel like just be very, very careful about covering your tracks. If that's you, I see that coming through. Okay, so just protect yourself accordingly, Cancers. I wish you the best for this month. Take care of yourself. If you're traveling, I feel like, you know, if you're camping, traveling, I see like there's a need to bring like one of those utility knives. I mean, you should always bring one when you travel or when you camp, but I feel like it is really important for you to have it on you at all times, okay? Like a utility knife or something like that, pliers. I see chisels, pliers, utility knives. So have that on you because I feel like you might need it when you least expect it, okay? So just try to keep it on a keychain or something, keep it in your pocket or tied around your belt loops or something. I feel like that's going to be important for you, okay? So take care of yourself. I'll see you in the beginning of this month, and I wish you the best, all right? Take care of yourself. Actually, I'm going to cycle back to Cancer, and I'm going to shuffle the cards in preparation for Leo, and then I'll switch over the screen once the cards are laid out. Okay, so next up, Leos. Alrighty. Um, Celebrate and enjoy yourself. Be very careful about overindulging and drinking. Okay, so just keep that in mind. That's standard. Is what I'm feeling here. But I feel like drinking and then doing something you might regret, such as texting somebody that you're not supposed to be texting, like drunk texting. So just keep that in mind. I do see that message coming out. So one of the things I'm sensing here is I feel like somebody is showing you or telling you how much they like you. So it's, you know, a love offer. It's an offer for love, it's an offer for friendship, okay? I don't know if it has come in like the beginning of the month. It's something that you are aware of. It's already shown up in the present, but it's the first card out. So I don't know when this came into the picture, if it came in the past or if it recently came in, but someone is making an offer to you. And a lot of you are very disarmed about this offer because you believe it. You believe that the other person, likes you. It's not like the delivery of the message or anything like that. It's just something that was very unexpected because a lot of you might feel as if you had no idea. And I feel like that's because a lot of you are dealing with an air sign. Air signs are Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Um, and air signs are, like you're a fire sign. You wear your heart on your sleeves, and you're very, very affectionate, and you never get tongue-tied. You always know the right thing to say because you operate once again from the heart as well. So your heart and your mind are usually in the same place. You're very sincere. So whatever you say, you mean it. Air signs are very emotionally blocked, and sometimes there's like a whole wealth of emotions boiling underneath, but you don't see it because they know how to keep a poker face. They know a lot about emotional control and regulation, and it's not it's probably not healthy to be, that emotionally suppressed, subdued, and repressed, but that's just the way that they are. So I feel like a lot of you are feeling a little bit like taken aback by this offer because you did not see it coming. So I don't know. I don't feel it's working as a burden. It's just something you're thinking about because prior to this, you saw them a different way. And then they tell you they like you, and then you start to see them in a different light. You start to entertain the thoughts of, I never saw them as a partner before, but I'm not opposed to it. So I feel like a lot of you are kind of thinking it over, which is great. I also feel a lot of you might be in a relationship. So a lot of you might be seeing somebody else, or you are in a long distance relationship. So let me put it this way. So I feel like for those of you who are in a relationship, there might be a person that made you an offer and it kind of feels like you're taken aback and you're trying to see how you can keep two relationships running at the same time. So I feel like that's what's happening. And that's why there's a little bit of conflict here. So if you're in a relationship, I do feel a little bit of internal strife in your current existing relationship. You're still very much in love with the other person and you like the other person, you enjoy their company. But I feel like there's a lot of strife, there's a lot of imbalances. I feel like there's a geographical distance for a lot of you and the other person, where you might not see each other a lot, or one person is I feel like working hours might conflict, geographical distance. I see like a lot of communication via text rather than face to face. I feel like one person feels very isolated and alone in this relationship because there isn't enough, couples time. There isn't enough togetherness. There could be different philosophies as well, and you're not seeing eye to eye. That can also affect the emotional rapport and the flow in the relationship. So that's what I'm sensing. For others of you, you might have started a new relationship, like very, very new. It's something that is just happened. And then the other person that you caught you off guard told you that they like you. And now you're just like, how do I do this? What do I do? So I feel a lot of you are very stuck. I feel like you're physically stuck. You're just like, why does it, like, why did it happen right at this moment? So a lot of you are just like cursing fate and cursing destiny. But I feel like it's coming in because I feel like a lot of you are encountering, like if it's a new person, you're encountering a very karmic connection right now, and you don't know which one is the karmic connection, the new person or the person that just told you they like you after you got together with the new person. So I feel like you're being tested and you're being tested, and as to, first of all, the main test is to trust your intuition. The second test, trust your intuition as in like knowing who's a good fit for you. Okay, that's what I mean. The second test here is integrity, moral integrity, actions and consequences. Okay, that's the second test. And I feel like the third test for you is, do I love myself more than I love the other two people? Is my ego so great that I'm going to keep this a secret and date them both? Or do I really love one person or both of them more than myself, where I can, not self-indulge and just pick one person from among them? So I feel like you have these three major tests coming through, and you're not seeing it yet. So I hope that might shed some light on this situation. If you're sitting there wondering, like, why did they both have to come in at the same time? I was waiting for the past few months and no one came in, and why this month that they both came in at the same time? Well, it's a test, because you have a very significant soulmate connection with somebody right now, and you're being tested whether or not this is going to withstand hardships, whether or not you love the other person more than yourself, whether or not you are willing to do the right thing. Okay, the right things are never easy, but I feel like that's what's happening here. um, I see this as something more on the love emotional front rather than on a job work front. um, I also feel like for a lot of you, there might have been some recent legal issues or still ongoing legal issues. I feel like you might want to travel either for new jobs or for work, and you can't do it because of this legal issue looming over your head. And it's like you have to like follow up, you have to go to court, you have to like, schedule dates for courts, and everything is not written in stone. So your life is stuck in limbo and you can't travel. So there's this frustration because you can't break out of your physical geographical location. There's frustration because you're flip-flopping back and forth between choices. And there's just sheer frustration because you're stuck. And for a fire sign to be stuck, it is really frustrating. Um, I feel like I feel for some of you too, finances being held up, okay? So like you're waiting on a loan, you're waiting on a settlement, you're waiting on payment, salary. There's something being stuck, it's being held up. And I feel like for some of you feel as if it's coming in from all directions. Finances being held up, love being held up, travel being held up, and potentially communication being held up, house repairs being held up. So it's like coming at you from all directions, and you're just really frustrated. Um, I I can't honestly. I know it's frustrating, and I can't really tell you anything that's going to make the situation better. But I feel like the only advice, like the money situation, I do see on the financial front things that this is a test for you to do the right thing, and for you to, do the right thing. It's not even the honorable thing, because some people make promises, vows, and then their heart is not in it anymore, and they still stay with the other person thinking, I'm doing this out of a sense of loyalty, obligation, and honor. But if you're not in love with the other person, don't stay with them. That's not honorable. So, try to do the right thing. And the right thing is, try to, if you say you really love the other person, then protect them at all costs. Excuse me, I can't speak. um, Try to always, keep them away from harm. Try to be honest and truthful and faithful. That's what love is, okay? And sometimes, we have temptations, and we might feel like my I want to go and gratify my ego. I want to like have an affair. I want to buy that sports car. Whatever it is that people do, it's from a place of ego. It's from their, their lower self, speaking as if the world owes me this. I'm entitled to this. So I hope that makes sense. I hope the message is clear. You're being tested here. You're being tested whether or not your love is true and authentic, whether or not you love the other person more than yourself, whether or not you're willing to make these sacrifices so that the people you love or the people you claim that you love mean more to you than your own ego or gratifying your own ego. Okay, so that's what I feel is coming through here, and you're grappling with this decision because Leos, try to do what you feel is the right thing for the people that you love. Okay, the people that you really really love. So that's what I feel coming through, and a lot of you are dealing with an air sign, and once again, I feel like there is an air sign that is coming into a situation that is creating, they might be the one that tells you that they really care about you and is throwing a wrench in the works because now you're just like, I don't know what to do. And you might be in another relationship. You might be married. You might be on the tail end of a relationship. You might be in a long distance relationship. And you are tempted to step out and, pursue things with this air sign possibly. If that's the case, I do feel there will be consequences. So once again, tests come in to test our own personal sense of responsibility, to test our sense of moral integrity. So there will be actions and consequences. So just make sure you're doing the right thing. I see as well a lot of you are shifting houses, moving from one place to the next, and you're just like, it feels almost like you want to break away from your old life. You want newness. You feel very stuck, very frustrated. I do feel as well, yeah, I see like balancing two people, trying to make things work, and I do feel one person you don't love anymore. I see like you're not in love with one person anymore, and I don't know why you're staying there because it might be out of that sense of loyalty. You feel as if, oh, they love me, they will never leave me, and we made a vow, and even though I don't love them, I need to abide by my vow because I feel like a lot of you, you're very like you're very loyal, and if someone has never done anything to hurt you, and if they have been consistent and if they have been loyal and um, consistent with you, you equate that with longevity, you equate that with mutual love, mutual respect. So you might stay in that relationship out of that sense of loyalty, out of that sense of obligation, and I feel like your heart's not in it anymore, and the longer you stay there, the more resentment will start brewing from your end and the more stuck you will become. So keep this situation into perspective, okay? And try to just know that everything here is a test. And I don't know how else you can get out of this because I feel like the cards are reversed, and when you have like the perimeters of the cards are all reversed, it means you're going through in circles. There's no breakage. There's no turning point here that will allow you to break free. But I do feel there is an air sign that is actually going to provide some relief for you if you want to break out. An air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. I also feel, yeah, I do sense that, the air sign can show up as a consultant, as a specialist, as someone who gives very good advice. So I feel like if your mental processes might be in disarray, you have so many things that you think are important, you think are like valid reasons, but they might be able to help you refine your train of thoughts and put things into perspective for you. Okay, so you have an air sign in your midst. It's good to have a conversation with them just to see where you're coming from. I also feel for some of you, I also feel for some of you like there's communication coming through regarding like possibly from an ex, and you're completely blocking it out. If someone has lied to you in the past too, you kind of tend to lose respect for people, and I feel like a Leo can't love somebody when they have lost respect for that person. So keep that in mind. Maybe that might help you make these decisions, okay? So if that resonates with you, I feel like maybe that's your metric. Maybe that's what you need to use as an indicator of whether or not you're still in love. So let me see if there's anything else coming in here. I do see travel delays. Once again, a lot of you might be wanting to take a vacation, might want to just get out of Dodge and, start something new, start something over. But I feel a lot of restrictions. And I feel like the restrictions are not real. I don't feel like severe divine blockages. I just feel like you thinking about things, and then, feeling as if I've not even like that emotional investment that you put in, but it's that feeling like, where do I go? What do I do? Why is timing such a bad factor in my life? That's what I feel is happening. So Leos, I know it's frustrating, and you're going through birthday time. So I wish I could get, more of a positive energy, but I do sense you have a lot of people that are emotionally supportive. I do sense you have a lot of love, you have a lot of support coming through. So it's not like you have a shortage of people. It's just you have too many choices, and all good choices, I feel, coming through. But I do sense that you have to, if you have to fake it, then don't even bother. Okay. What I do sense on that note, on how we can end this, getting another person's perspective, especially from an air sign is going to give you very good advice. A water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, if you are dealing with a water sign, especially an ex, I feel like somebody's giving you the runaround. Somebody's giving you. So next up, last sign here, we have Virgos. See what's going on with you, Virgos. You have some very, very good cards here. And I do feel like for the next 2 weeks, it's going to be really important. So, first of all, I'm getting heightened psychic abilities, okay? And whenever heightened psychic ability comes in, it's really important because you're getting good ideas from the universe. So, the universe is like pushing you to do something. And whatever it is that you need to do is usually like business ideas. It's usually investment ideas. Honestly, I feel like that's what's happening here. It's usually, like some really good income generating idea, or some really good ideas that you can bring forth into the world. So when I mentioned that I think I might not have made that clear. Usually when I say that, listen to your intuition, or, um, you have heightened psychic abilities or intuitive abilities coming through, it's usually the universe trying to get you to see something so that you can create something else out of it. It's not just, to figure out, oh, is my spouse cheating, even though those things are important as well. But I feel like it's something that you're meant to do. It's advice from your higher self to steer you on a life path along a road, along like a specific place, towards a specific place that you need to be in order to do something that you're meant to do. Okay, so this is what I feel coming through. You have a divine idea given to you from the universe. I feel that it's coming to you. It has been coming for the past 3 months. And first of all, you tell yourself, no, that will never work because I'm not good enough. You tell yourself, I don't have the skills. I don't even know how to wrap my head around getting this idea off the ground. It is, I feel for a lot of you, it might be a income generating project. It might be a business. And it might be like you're starting something really big. It might be even like an idea for a story, an idea for a book, but I feel more than anything, it is an enterprise. Okay? And they're giving you a very, very vague image of what it looks like. And you have to fill in the blanks by doing a lot more research. But in the past, you kind of brushed it off. And I feel like it keeps coming. And every day it gets stronger and stronger. And you see it and you still tell yourself. So I feel like 2 months ago, you tell yourself, I don't have the skills. I have all these responsibilities that I need to do. I don't have time for research. So you're making excuses. And you know, Virgos, you have a lot of skills, but a lot of the times you might lack the self-confidence to, to know how valuable you are, to know how much knowledge you actually have, and to know how much, people really appreciate your skills. When you start something, it always comes to fruition. And when you start something, it always bear fruit. It always like it's done well. It's done really well. So I feel like you're making excuses as to why you can't do this thing at this present time. And I feel like the messages keep coming on because it's telling you, stop making excuses. We're sending you helpers because we've been nagging you for months and you're not doing anything. So we have to send you a helper. So that's what I feel is coming through. And I feel for a lot of you, this is a business, a once in a lifetime business venture that you need to like grab hold of right now. Okay. So after that, I see, like, so you've been you've been like making excuses. So I feel like what's coming through is the idea starts to, gain more um, realism. So it becomes more coherent. And then you tell yourself, no, that's too big of a risk. I can't risk my job. I can't leave this job. Start. So you might have young children and you're just like, no, I need to be either a at home mom or stay at home dad, take care of my little ones. So I don't have time for this. So once again, those, rationales, those excuses, okay? And then a lot of you are just like, no, I'm not going to be here long enough in order to see this situation off the ground because, when you start something, it usually takes like 5 years. So you have to be there all the time. And I want to travel. I don't really want that responsibility. I'm still young. I don't want to be inundated with responsibilities right now. And that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. That is a valid reason. But for others of you who are like, no, this is too risky. I don't know how to do it yet. Well, if it seems risky, it means that you have to do preliminary research in order to mitigate these risks, okay? So what I feel is coming through is I see rounds of making these, rationales about why you shouldn't start something. And then I see the universe is sending you a helper. I feel a lot of you are dealing with an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. They are expert logistics people. They can sum up a problem really well and they can tell you, okay, I know what you're struggling with and I know how it can be done and I know how it can be done well. So I feel like an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, and a Virgo working together where the Virgo handles, behind the scenes stuff and then the air sign thinks of the idea and tries to somehow bring it into the fold. It's a really good business combination, okay? I also see a fire sign, a Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And interestingly enough, these two signs seem a little bit younger than you. Their energy is very vibrant. Either that or they could be, biologically older than you, but they're risk takers. They take calculated risks, and they know, they just have a lot more self-confidence. And I feel like that's something you might realize that you're lacking, Virgo. So, don't beat yourself up over it. And you might realize that you spent the last, 3 months, 3 years focusing on all the negative aspects, and you never gave yourself, the credit. Okay. So this series of pessimistic, self-doubt, pessimistic thinking needs to be put to an end. And I feel like this, in many ways, this thing coming through now is not just about a business venture. It's about Virgos looking at your life and figuring out where you have been self-sabotaging yourself, and where you have been, talking down at yourself. So this is a more of an issue about how you can rebuild your self-esteem, how you have held yourself back in the past, how you have been like, self-defeating when it comes to negative thoughts, negative thinking, and pessimism. Okay, and just like being inundated by pessimism. So this is a really important lesson here about having trust in yourself, your capabilities, your assets, and trusting that the universe will give you ideas, and you have to run with these ideas. Inspiration rarely come in, and when they come in and you feel like, oh my gosh, that's coming from the divine because I would never think of that. It's usually something that you're meant to do. And when it's something that is meant for you, from your higher being, it means that it's trying to get you to a different path. And the path that it's trying to get you to is the path that was laid out for you, specifically you and no one else. Okay, so I feel like that's what's coming in. And if you are thinking, if a lot of you have been thinking about a business venture and you're just like, no, that's risky, this is confirmation here. This is confirmation that you're on the right track. This is confirmation that the universe is trying to steer you where you need to be. So I feel like a lot of the universe is sending in helpers. Okay, so you have a fire sign, Sagittarius, Leo, Aries. You have the air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. And I feel them coming in, stirring things up, and trying to get this thing off the ground with you. So the fire sign might come in with the ideas. The air sign might refine these ideas and make them workable. And then you're the one that's executing, because you're an earth sign. Whatever you build will sustain, will be stable. The foundation, at least, will be very stable. Make sure everyone has their own designated roles and the roles don't overlap, because I feel like everybody here has a very specific set of skills. And if you overlap, or if you don't use somebody's skills properly, the project might not get off the ground. So it's a matter of tweaking a few things around and changing, the work dynamics to get everyone, to get like everyone at their optimal level. So that means, the air sign should not be building the foundation. I don't feel that would go well. The fire sign should not, refine the plans. Not to, put a damper on things, but I feel like everyone is here for a reason. Somebody comes up with the plan, the next person refines it, make it workable, and then the third person builds it from the ground up or implements it in the real world. So everyone has their own skills. The roles should not overlap. Okay, so that's what I feel coming through. And if you are looking for seed funding, I do see that coming through as well. So your things, and tying up loose ends. And I feel like everyone should have a designated role if you're working with other people. I see either one person or three people total. I don't see a partnership. I don't feel this situation is in support of partnerships for some reason. I feel like you have to work either you yourself and with like other consultants, but they're not partners. Or you can work with two other people and three of you are all partners, but I don't see a dual, like two people. I don't think it's going to be favorable for two. Yeah, it's saying something here specifically about three people, you and two other people, or you alone. So, anyways, I do feel money coming through in the September costs and things like that. I feel like there's a budget, some type of business proposal that needs to be written. The air sign can help you with that. That is a big message coming through for those of you looking for validation, looking for affirmation. I feel that, like, confirmation, excuse me, not affirmation. I feel like this is something that you have to do. You've been mulling it over and you've been making excuses, and now's the time for you to go ahead with it, okay? You're not alone in this. You have divine protection and guidance. And you are also, you have some help, okay? I literally feel like someone is coming in, cutting you loose from your limbo and telling you, let's do this because you've been waiting long enough. Okay, let's stop making excuses. I feel like someone telling you that, and you're just like riled up, and you're just like, okay, I'm on board. So that's what's happening here. So Virgos, give yourself a lot more credit than you're doing right now. Okay. What I'm also feeling as well is I do feel. So let me just see here. I'm feeling like family enterprise. So the other two people might be family members. They might be people in the same organization, in the same institution as you. So I do sense that coming through, and I feel almost like okay. So let's just say this, Virgos, on the work front. I see. Okay, so I'm feeling like a lot of you are working with some type of a governmental institution. A lot of you are working in an environment that is very structured, that there are many rules and regulations, and the rules and regulations just there are so many of them, they don't even make sense anymore. They're meant to, standardize procedures, but they became like a hindrance over time, and you're really frustrated with the way things are run and how things are done, and you feel like everybody there lacks the mindset to, let's stop with these regulations and let's just do things the right way. And I feel like there's a lot of red tape, there's a lot of bureaucratic like BS, and you're just really frustrated. And I feel like you might have a meeting and you voice your frustration, but I feel like you're so frustrated and everything has been so pent up that you might have been a little bit too aggressive. Okay, so a lot of you might be getting in trouble, and a lot of you might be on, what are those things like disciplinary probation. I feel a lot of you might be chastised, might be pulled into, your manager or supervisor's office, and they're just like, I agree with you, but don't say that out loud at a staff meeting, for example. So I feel like you're getting, like that slap on the wrist, but you're getting away scotch-free. But I feel like what it's telling you here is that there are so many people around you that are afraid of doing things. And I feel this is the month for you to really let yourself shine, put yourself in the spotlight and say what needs to be said, because everyone around you is thinking the same thing. They just don't have the guts to do it. So I feel like this is a major, the next 2 weeks, actually, we actually have the sun coming away from Cancer. It's in the constellation of Leo, and Leo is a very bold sign. It's a very courageous, bold sign. So you might be experiencing this burst of energy where you become more courageous, where you become a little bit more impatient, and you might, say things that you have repressed. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't feel there's anything wrong with the timing, the delivery. um, I don't feel there's anything wrong with the delivery because people around you agree with you. But for out of so just for the sake of social norms, they might not say it out loud, but they feel how you're feeling. So a lot of you might have an idea and you feel like, no, this is not politically correct. I'm not sure if I'm going to get a lot of support. And then you just, shout it from the pulpit and you just say it. And then everybody's on board. So don't shy away from a good idea. You will understand the true value and how powerful an idea is, okay? This month, when the right person brings it forth. So I feel like you're like the messenger here in the grander scheme of things. I feel like you're the messenger. And it's funny because Virgos, you enjoy working behind the scenes. You don't like the spotlight. You don't want to be the messenger. But you're ruled by Mercury. It rules communication. So it's your job to be in the spotlight. It's your job to rile people up. It's your job to communicate ideas succinctly and effectively and to be very persuasive. You have the ability to be very persuasive because people, usually your coworkers and your boss, they trust you because you're very diligent with your work. And whatever you do, they never have to check for mistakes. They never have to fact check you. So already you've got a lot of credibility under your belt, but I feel like you shy away from drastic changes. And it's understandable, you're an earth sign, but I feel like you're here to deliver a very important message. And you have like shied away from it, possibly your whole lives. And the time is now. So it's Virgo's time, even though we're in the constellation of Leo, which is interesting. But either way, um, on the love front, I feel it's the same manner. A lot of you might be, a lot of you, I feel like secret, harboring secret feelings. So I feel like you might like somebody for a really long time, and they would have no idea. And you just never worked up the courage to tell them. And I feel like a lot of women, Virgo and women, you're very, very shy. Men too. I feel like Virgo and men too. But with men, there are these social expectations, these stereotypes of what a man is supposed to be like. So I feel like women, you might have like a crush on somebody, you might like them a lot, and you might have followed them around, you might have like stalked them on social media, not heavily, but I see you looking at pictures, following them around and things like that, but you haven't worked up the courage to express your feelings, to show them a gesture, to say hello, to, just randomly saunter into their environment. You haven't worked up the courage to do that because innately you are afraid of rejection. We're all afraid of rejection, and that's why we're so guarded with our feelings, right? But I feel like they don't know you like them unless you tell them, because you're dealing with fire signs who are very friendly and they feel like they won't know unless you tell them. And then you're dealing with an air sign who's very emotionally just blocked, so they don't really observe their environment. They're not very in tune with, emotional energy. So the point here is, if you like somebody, tell them, because I feel like the feelings are being reciprocated. So the window of opportunity for the next 2 weeks is wide open. Wide open, okay? Especially if you have something for an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. If you have something for an air sign, tell them. And I do sense like once you review your feelings, they're just going to be like, oh, I liked you the whole time. So I feel some coming together, new relationships blossoming, okay? Others of you in a relationship, like stable relationship, I feel like it's a really good time to take a trip to express how you feel, to renew the relationship. Um, Others of you who are dealing with a fire sign, let me see what's going on with the fire sign. I feel like they might not be ready for a commitment. They might like you a lot, but they might not just yet be ready for a commitment. Okay, so Sagittarius, Leo, Aries, I do feel they like you a lot. And at least, if you like them, get a conversation started, get a conversation going, because they might tell you the truth too. I don't feel they're being dishonest. They might say that, oh, I'm actually seeing somebody else, maybe later. And, maybe later you can reconnect. But I feel like it's really important, Virgos, to put yourself out there and actually just be brave and just know that you have a lot to offer in love, in business. You're just a really, really you're very, very well rounded, and you're very reliable, and you are excellent workers. You're excellent friends. You're excellent, caretakers. I feel like Virgo people, when they do something, they do it really well, very, very well. So you're one of those exceptionally, just gosh, you're just really, really good at what you do. So if you have an idea, don't doubt that you don't have the capabilities or the knowledge. Don't doubt that you have, that you're less than, and you, because of it, you talk yourself out of doing something that will be really good for you. Okay, so this is a really long reading, so I'm just going to end it at that. And I just want to say again, these are channel messages. I don't so when I pull the cards out, I read the standard, Rider-Waite deck when it pertains to a specific message. Otherwise, I read whatever is coming through, and you have some very, very strong channel messages, which means that the universe is trying to get you. I feel like this is career related. If you're in a job and you're really just, racking your brain, it makes you want to cry when you get out of bed, when you think about having to go to work. You're in the wrong profession, you're in the wrong field, you're at the wrong job. So the universe is bringing something else into the picture for you, possibly ways in which you can be self-employed, or the job. They're trying to give you information about the next job or the better job that you could have. Okay, and I feel like a lot of you're such a good worker, so that like your energy is wasted in an environment that you're not happy. So, because they know you work hard, they are rewarding you with some really good insights as to where you should go for a better career, for better employment opportunities, for better income generating opportunities. So, for example, if you're a really bad worker, you're not going to be getting these insights. They're rewarding you mainly because you have worked hard and you deserve to be treated better. You deserve something better, okay? So take this idea. If it sounds a little bit too, if it sounds too vague, do some research. Just, get a keyword, go off that keyword and see where it takes you. Because I feel like there's something there for you. If it sounds like too risky, if it sounds too risky, maybe you need to, get two business partners on board, two other business partners on board. If the other two seem to be on board, then it means it's maybe not that risky. So, spread the risk around people that you trust. And if you trust them and you want to go into business with them, then obviously you trust their judgment, you trust their expertise. So I feel like that's what you need to do. Stop making these excuses, okay? Get something started, get something going, because I feel like the window of opportunity for the next 2 weeks, have a small time frame. Just get something started, Virgos. Don't procrastinate on it anymore, because especially at work, if you're not happy where you are, you need to make a move, okay? So I do wish you all the best, and we might have, gotten things started. So hopefully we will see some movement, some momentum, some traction going